President Trump's new executive order. Well, his last executive order up until a few days ago, but saved the best for last. At least that was the case on January 24th, 2024. And Trump did exactly that. Another promise made and another promise kept.
As a first step toward restoring transparency and accountability to government, we will also reverse the overclassification of government documents. And in the coming days, we are going to make public remaining records relating to the assassinations of President John F. Kennedy, his brother Robert Kennedy, as well as Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and other topics of great public interest. It's all going to be released, Uncle Sam.
Other topics of great interest. And I think one question is 9/11 part of these other topics of great interest? As it should be. It definitely should be. There's no reason why it wouldn't be part of these other topics. I know that was something President Trump was asked about several times. Remember, President Trump was actually one of the first people on September 11, 2001. He was one of the first people to say that this had to be bombs. It had to be bombs in those towers. He was also one of the first people and the only people to say that we need to rebuild those towers the exact same way. Instead, we got the One World Trade Center, which sucks. But they really needed to rebuild the Twin Towers exactly the same, or the terrorists win. And we saw what happened. So I guess the terrorists won in that one. But it's never too late, and it is definitely a possibility that Trump could still do something very powerful with September 11th. It's going to take some lobbying. It's going to take the victim's family. We'll see what happens with Khalik Sheikh Mohammed, who is supposed to made some deal where he's not gonna get executed. It'll just be a life in prison or something like that. Probably comfy cozy life in prison as well. So we'll see what happens with that. But as far as JFK files being finally released, I'm glad to see that it is happening. It looks like it is actually happening this time. And the people love it. And we got RFK Jr. too.
Okay.
This is
Lastly, sir, we have an executive order ordering the declassification of files relating to the assassinations of President John F. Kennedy, Senator Robert F. Kennedy, and the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
That's a big one, huh? A lot of people are waiting for this for years, for decades. And everything will be revealed.
Everything will be revealed.
Okay?
I love this part.
Give that to RFK Jr.
Yes, sir.
Go back and take a look at that. I don't know if that was planned.
RFK
You
Jr.
can see that he drops the pin,
Okay?
right? Puts the pin there. Looks at somebody.
Give
Turns
that
to
to
someone else. Just give that to RFK Jr.
RFK Jr.
Yes, sir.
A powerful
Okay.
moment. Powerful moment. This is a big, big deal to restoring our nation, to getting rid of some of the hurt in our nation, in our country. This is a huge deal. I could not be happier with this. I was disappointed, like a lot of people in 2016. In 2017, I think, finally in 2018, when he didn't do it, and we kind of realized, okay, he's not going to release everything like he said. He did. He made good on his promise now. So years later, some people are, still upset about, well, he should have done it way back when. These are things that should have been released in 1992. That's another just crazy part of this whole story. I got a little fact sheet, but I do want to play a little more because I want to get RFK Jr.'s response, which was quick. Just a quick little video. I think CBS or somebody. Of course, they want to capitalize on it. That's cool. As long as we get their quotes on record, I'm loving it. The book is loving it too.
Okay, thank you very
Mr.
much.
President
Trump.
do you think that that's the right move to declassify those
I
documents?
think it's a great move because we need to have more transparency in our government, and he's keeping his promise to have the government tell the truth to the American people about everything.
There it is, about everything. About everything. So, and his dad's records didn't have to be included in that, but they were, which I thought was a bold move. So Joe Biden can sit back there and have the bust of RFK Sr., but it didn't mean anything because he didn't do anything about these files. He extended everything that had been going on since 1992, which was to not release these very important files. So that is that one. And then, of course, I love RFK Jr.'s response. I do want to read his full response from X that he posted a couple of days ago. But you can read the actual order. I'll read the order. Maybe I'll just read the fact sheet first. Let's just read the little bit of the fact sheet. Oops. And because there was an order, but let's look at this fact sheet here. This is from whitehouse.gov, and I will put this in the chat. And then I went back and found the actual order itself. So I'm just going to write fact sheet if anybody wants to go and look at that later on. And then if you do want to go and read the actual order on whitehouse.gov, it was not easy to find. And I searched for it, and when I searched for executive order, JFK files, it did not come up. So I'm going to put that here, the actual order. I'm going to put that in the chat for anyone who wants to go back and look at that later on. Let's look at this fact sheet because this is good stuff here. All right. This is from January 23rd, 2025. Providing Americans truth after 6 decades of secrecy, today President Donald J. Trump signed an executive order entitled Declassification of Records Concerning the Assassination of President John F. Kennedy, Senator Robert F. Kennedy, and the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. The executive order establishes the policy that more than 50 years after these assassinations, the victims' families and the American people deserve the truth. Specifically, the order directs the Director of National Intelligence and other appropriate officials to 1. Present a plan within 15 days for the full and complete release of all John F. Kennedy assassination records. And 2, immediately review the records relating to the Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and Martin Luther King Jr. assassination. Sorry, I keep saying Robert F. Kennedy Jr. I apologize for that. Robert F. Kennedy, which is Robert F. Kennedy Sr. and Robert, I almost did it again, and Martin Luther King Jr. assassinations, and present a plan for their full and complete release within 45 days. So it isn't like these documents are going to be released within 15 days, which is what I first thought. But then when you read the actual order, this is what the order really says, is his team pretty much has 15 days to come up with a plan for the complete and full release. So we'll see if he gets any pushback, because there's still time for people to say, well, we still shouldn't release these specific documents. That is at the president's pleasure where he could do that. But since Trump actually went on TV and said it multiple times, including when he put RFK Jr. on his team when the Unity Party was formed, I mean, the greatest day, one of the greatest days in the history of this country right here when the Unity Party was formed. Even on that day, Trump announced what he was going to do, create a committee to examine these assassination attempts and assassinations. So this all goes in line with that, the assassination attempt on his life. And I do hope, it does seem like there may be some wiggle room to include the events of September 11th in there too. So I think that's great. I'm looking forward to it. Still can't get these lighting issues right for some reason. And it's not going to work. I don't know if that's going to make any difference or not. We'll see if that makes a little bit of a difference in the lighting here. I have no idea what I'm doing with lighting. It's probably where I am. I need a light, some backlighting, probably. All right, just a few more minutes on that. So let's go back to the fact sheet. Good fact sheet here. Okay, so President Trump is ending the endless delays. In his first term, President Trump ordered agencies to move towards disclosing more information about the John F. Kennedy assassination. And now he is ordering that the work be completed. The President John F. Kennedy Assassination Records Collection Act of 1992 required all records related to the assassination be released in 25 years, absent a presidential certification that continued postponement is necessary due to an identifiable harm to the military defense, intelligence operations, law enforcement, or conduct of foreign relations, and such identifiable harm is of such gravity that it outweighs the public interest. So these would be the only two reasons why, after 25 years, why those records should not be released. Well, so it wasn't like in 1992 the record should have been released. It's 25 years from 1992. You could do the math on that. I don't have my calculator right here. I'm sorry, suck at math. So those are the two reasons. So in October of 2018 certifications, President Trump directed agencies to reevaluate redactions and disclose any information that no longer warranted withholding. President Biden delayed disclosure in 2021, 2022, and 2023. In this order, President Trump finds that continued withholding of the John F. Kennedy records is not in the public interest and is long overdue. He also concludes that releasing the Robert F. Kennedy and Martin Luther King Jr. assassination records is in the public interest. President Trump delivers on promises to release the assassination records. President Trump promised during his campaign to release assassination records to give Americans the truth. President Trump pledged on multiple occasions to release the JFK files, specifically stating in June 2024 that he would do so early on. He sure is. Well, a few days there. He took office January 20th, and 4 days later, here we are. President Trump, when I return to the White House, I will declassify and unseal all JFK assassination related documents. It's been 60 years. Time for the American people to know the truth. Some of the things that I'm looking forward to that I hope is included in this are files related to a man named Richard K. Snagel, The Man Who Knew Too Much. Go find that book, The Man Who Knew Too Much, by Dick Russell. Richard K. Snagel was a guy who was allegedly shadowing Oswald. He looks like Oswald, and they all may have been using the same code name of Alec Hidell, Hidel or Hidell. Richard K. Snagel, when he was arrested before the assassination, he after warned people who did not listen. He walks into a bank, fires 2 shots into the bank, walks out, and goes and waits until a local police officer arrests him. Even then, he tried to tell the police officer and tried to tell people what was about to happen very soon, which was the assassination of John F. Kennedy, which did happen. And so I do believe Oswald was involved in some ways. I don't believe Oswald fired the kill shot, and I don't really believe there's proof Oswald fired any shots that day. And the fact that he was then murdered 1 or 2 days later, and the strange thing surrounding that, the different hobos that were taken off of a railroad car box train that same day as John F. Kennedy was murdered. What happened with them? Are there records of those 3 hobos, because they look like government ops, and then the police that were escorting them didn't look like police officers? So I want to know what information do they have on those hobos? I think that is a big smoking gun in this case. But the case of Richard K. Snagel is a big, huge issue. And I hope that those documents, Dick Russell will be able to pull those documents and make a follow-up to his awesome book, The Man Who Knew Too Much. We'll see what happens with that. All right. And so I'm just going to read RFK Jr.'s response. It's a great response. And then I've got to jet out of here. So RFK Jr., he hasn't really made too many posts. Like the last post he made December 27, 2024. Before that, December 25th. Before that, December 20th. So it wasn't, and when he was meeting with the congressman and all that good stuff, which I wanted to cover all of that, document that, just didn't have a chance to get to it. But today I just want to go over what RFK Jr. posted here on January 24th, 2025. Already has 7.3 million views. JFK, this is from Robert F. Kennedy Jr. on X. JFK warned that the very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society, and we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secrecy. We decided long ago that the dangers of excessive and unwarranted concealment of pertinent facts far outweigh the dangers which are cited to justify it. The 60-year-old strategy of lies and secrecy, disinformation, censorship, and defamation employed by intel officials to obscure and suppress troubling facts about JFK's assassination has provided the playbook for a series of subsequent crises: the MLK and RFK assassinations, Vietnam, 9/11, the Iraq War, and COVID, that have each accelerated the subversion of our exemplary democracy by the military/medical industrial complex and pushed us further down the road towards totalitarianism. So RFK Jr. saying this, I really hope this is a hint that not only is this committee going to look into the assassination, the four assassinations, the assassination attempt on President Trump, the assassination on President John F. Kennedy, the assassination on MLK, on Senator RFK. They should look into Vietnam, since that's tied to it. And if they include 9/11, it is going to be a game changer, groundbreaking stuff. I'm really looking forward to that, and I hope they can do it. Only one person can do it, and it is RFK Jr. He's the best person to head up this committee, this investigative committee. I don't know how that interferes with his role as HHS, but we will see. Hearing starts tomorrow for RFK Jr. too. A nation that does not trust its people is a nation that is afraid of its people. A government that withholds information is inherently fearful of its citizens' ability to make informed decisions and participate actively in democracy. Thank you, President Trump, for trusting American citizens and for taking the first step down the road towards reversing this disastrous trajectory. That is beautiful. And that is where we're at here with the JFK files, where all of this is going. Tomorrow, RFK Jr. will be in front of I did have that there. Yeah, you can watch it on C-SPAN. It's going to be everywhere. C-SPAN may be a good place to watch it. The confirmation hearing for RFK Jr. to become the Secretary of HHS, Health and Human Services. It's going to be a wild day. And then Tulsi Gabbard, I think, is on Thursday. But it'll be a wild day tomorrow. I'll definitely be watching. I'll probably be streaming just the hearing itself by itself. Probably, I don't know if I'll be commentating on it or not, but I am looking forward to that, to seeing what happens. We kind of know what's going to happen, but this will give us a good idea of what the vote count looks like, what the sides are, and I'm sure we're going to see the same cast of characters on both sides. It's going to be crazy to see more Republicans backing RFK Jr., and then we'll see how the Democrats react. But it looks like he will get nominated in. And he doesn't need a couple Democrat votes, but it looks like he's going to get a couple of those, including Uncle Fester. And we'll see who else. But I think he's friends with some of those Democrat senators too. So we'll see what happens. I'm looking forward to it. God bless you all. Remember, Jesus Christ loves you, and so do I, my friends. Stay blessed.